Life in the Philippines. One thing I learned traveling around, and it happened in Peru and Colombia and here in the Philippines. In poor countries, if you're a foreigner, they think you're rich. You can afford to buy everything that they ask for, like a cell phone. They always want a new cell phone. But the thing is, you'll have people that really don't know you, who aren't nice to you, who ignore you, neglect you, don't care about you, demand that you buy them something, usually a cell phone. And they'll say, you have lots of money, you should just buy it. And their friends will gang up on you. You have lots of money. And if you don't do it, they will steal. So I had employees steal, I had 2 laptops stolen, and one of them literally said to me, I don't care if you have on video that I stole the laptop. He literally said that to me. And I did have it on video. And another one, she asked me to give her, I came home from the US with 2 brand new laptops still in the box. And I put them on my counter, and the maid said, can you give me a laptop? I said, no, they're my laptops. I bought them for me. And she stole one. She put it in the laundry bag. And when I came out, I didn't notice that one of them was gone. I saw the laundry bag by the door. And then she left. And then after she left, maybe an hour later, I noticed that one of the laptops was gone. And guess what happens? Nobody at the office knows her name or her address or phone number. They knew enough to contact her to fire her because she was related to one of the employees. So they're protecting her. They allowed her to steal the laptop. So with the cell phone, they'll claim that someone stole the cell phone, like they're on the train and their bag was open and someone stole it. That's not what happened. They stole the cell phone. So I have to buy them a new one because it's an employee cell phone. So that is one of the things that they do in order to trick you into getting a cell phone. We were at the beach. There was like 20 or 30 people. And these were young women. They weren't like 50-year-old women as far as I remember. They're probably in their 20s. One of them said her cell phone is gone. I would never leave a cell phone outside of the reach of my hands, but they do. So I said, what's the phone number? I dialed the number and someone's purse started ringing. And she opened it up frantically and turned it off or said hello or whatever. It was her. She stole somebody's phone. And I don't know how they resolved it, but that's what happened. So another one was my secretary, or human resources, I don't remember which one, left the cell phone on a table in the kitchen during the break. There's like 20 people in the kitchen because they would go in and make sandwiches or get coffee or whatever. Checking the time. The camera doesn't show the kitchen. It shows leaving the kitchen. She described the cell phone. They asked everyone, can you show your cell phones? One woman said she didn't have a cell phone. It was her first day on the job. I looked at the video. She was the one who carried that cell phone out of the kitchen. Claimed that she didn't have one. I got the video of her carrying the cell phone. She did not show up for work ever again. She worked one day and that was it. She basically stole the cell phone and that was it. And then she left. Never came back again. She gave up her job. So another thing that they would do is they would borrow money and then they quit. So this one, it's got to be something important that they need. So what they would say is their mattress. They'd say they need a new mattress. They would want to take a loan from the company, and because you want to be a good person, you give them the loan so they can buy their new mattress. So then, when the woman was fired eventually, because eventually we downsized from like 30 employees, I went down to 5 employees. And that meant no more maid. This was a different maid. I was looking at one of the computers. You go through the computer, you got to find all the images and videos from the graphics artist department. And I found letters in the documents folder that the designer had written for the maid. It was to quit. It was a notice of termination, the notice that she was quitting. And there were like 6 letters, one from November, one from December, one from January, one from February, one from March. She never quit. And the reason why they do that is because if they quit, they don't have to pay the loan. I'm pretty sure that's law. So the other thing is, they have a rule that if someone gets pregnant, you have to pay 9 months' salary for that woman. So she came to me. This is before I knew about all the nonsense. She came to me and said she was pregnant. I said, okay, congratulations. My employee already had told me, he said, you know, that they'll tell you that they're pregnant so they can get fired. No, they'll tell you they get pregnant because they want the 9 months severance or something like that. They want you to fire them. In Colombia, if someone is pregnant, you can fire them. It's a law. In fact, they take a pregnancy test before they get hired. So she told me she was pregnant. I said, congratulations. I called her bluff and presumed that she was lying, and it ends up she was. She never got pregnant. She was doing it because she wanted to get fired so she didn't have to pay back the loan for the mattress. That's the way these people are. Maybe half a month's salary would have paid back the mattress. She could have said, hey, can I work extra hours or something? I would have been, yeah, sure. I had 3 maids. And the handyman did the work that the maids didn't do. He did the grocery shopping with them. He carried all the heavy plants. I had like 20, big plants like that, heavy, because otherwise you get echoes everywhere when people talk. And for the call center, customer support, you don't want all those echoes. So, I forgot what the point of the video was, but that was a lot of what I had to deal with in Colombia with thefts. There was a lot of employees who told me that somebody robbed them. I have an employee, I gave him probably 2 laptops, and he said both of them were stolen. No, he told me one of them he brought to the pawn shop. So I had people say that people pulled knives on them. And usually when someone robbed them, they weren't stealing something that was my property. They would just tell me I got robbed. Some guy pulled a knife. In Colombia, I heard it all the time. And the foreigners said it all the time. The women would rob them. They would take them, they would go back to their apartment, and then they would go to the bathroom, call their boyfriend, give them the address. The guys would show up with guns, and they would not only rob them, but they would tie them up and bind them and steal everything, including the furniture. They steal everything from the rooms. So theft was frequent in Colombia. But in general, a lot of people were trustworthy, but there were criminals. And the reason why is because they would have their motorcycle. They show up, 2 guys on a motorcycle. Guy gets off, points a gun at you, takes your wallet, gets on the motorcycle, and they take off. In like 10 seconds, they're gone. And because you're standing there, there's nothing you can do except put your hands up. And I guess they will shoot you. I actually have a story where someone was maybe pretending he had a weapon. He put his hand behind his back and he was asking for money. I only had like $5 on me. And I told him, I'm going to go buy a Coca-Cola. Come with me. I'll give you the change. And I gave him like $4. It was 8,000 pesos. Okay, running out of time. That is life in Colombia. Very accurate.